Let's see. Are we live? I think we're live.
It says live, yeah. Live now.
Yeah, we are live. Mrs. Positivity in the house. Wait a minute. We both in the house. We in the same house.
We both in the house, in this beautiful, luxurious house we have here.
It is gorgeous, girl. It is gorgeous. Hi.
Hey.
How
We
are
have
you?
I am lovely. How are you?
I'm just the same. Just the same.
We have made it to the month of February and we are still strong mothers, black women, Black History Month.
Yes, it is here. It is here. It's gonna be a really good month. I feel it.
Me too, me too, me too.
Yeah.
Very
December
high
and
expectations.
yeah. December and January was kind of like, what? What's happening right now? Like what? But it's traditionally like that because winter is a time that we're supposed to really rest.
hmm
We don't know how to rest, which is what we're talking about today. We're gonna talk about it today. We don't know how to really rest because we got stuff to do. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
we got stuff to do. So we are going to get into it. But first, you know what? We're waiting for Tessie to join us. Here's part of it.
See?
On this show, what we talk about, is so you think you want to be that. There's a lot of change happening. More and more every day, people are realizing that they really could be doing their absolute and being their absolute best. But sometimes we don't know exactly what that entails. Like it
What
may
the
look easy, but it's not so easy. So we're digging into it today. And she's actually doing the work. She has a last minute book. She has a last minute appointment. Oh, here she comes.
heck?
And look, there she is. Hey,
Hi.
can you hear us?
I can hear you.
You see us in this nice house? We're in the same house.
Oh, just noticed that.
We're in the same house. I'll say, did you make it back?
I did. Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good. All right. So I have the wonderful pleasure of introducing Mrs. Positivity to Mrs. Event Artist Expertise, Miss Tessy Windle. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have such a good time.
We are. Hello, beautiful.
Hi, Miss Positivity. How are you?
I am lovely. Thank you for joining us today.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were
So
just
we
talking
are.
about like what it why we always running around and why we doing stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why are we? That's a good question.
yeah.
Why are we?
And it's winter time because everything else hibernates and rests, and we the only ones that be like, well, I got stuff to do. I got stuff to do.
That's right. Can't even sleep because we're thinking about the 101 things we have to do in the morning, but we just can't even rest about it.
I know. I
That's us.
know. Well, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get all into it. What were you gonna say, Ash? You were about to say something.
To the same fact of like she was saying, she had something else that come up right before, and we're always ripping and running, and that's why we have these type of groups or types of conversations, because as like I came on earlier, talking about me and you, Tiffany, we're beautiful women, mothers, business owners slash educators slash influencers, and we are still making it through and we're still climbing through, but how do we find a balance? And so one thing I was going to say was you showed up, you made it. You showed up and you're present, but we definitely need to talk about how do we take a step back and how do we reflect. And so I just wanted to applaud her for showing up.
Yeah, because and this is to the point, to the show's point. I hate to show how Tess and I were just talking about getting our nails done, chipped, polished, whatever. This is to the point, though. The show is really about how to show up on purpose. So yeah, we show up, which is half of it, right? But
Right.
on purpose, how do we show up gracefully on purpose, calm and ready to take it on? Because it's a lot, and we're gonna talk about it and how we can design, the best possible scenarios for ourselves. Because Tessie Window, I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, I used to think that I did the most. I'm going to be very honest. I was like, no, I do a lot, but hands down, actually, both Mrs. Positivity and Tessy Windle, like some of the stuff that I see y'all do, I'm like, that's not even human. Like, what are you doing?
Well, and Tiffany, you know this more than anybody, is my alter ego is Wonder Woman. And
Wonder
it's not
Woman.
just the superhero or the Marvel character that she is, but it's literally the wonder of how we do things. And I know for me, where my faith is and where my spirituality is I do know that it's a wonder how God has created us for our purpose. And so I believe this is just part of my purpose. And I think it was my cousin who told me the other day, she was like, I don't think you would even know what to do if you didn't have anything to do. I just think it's how you're built. And I really had to think about that because I pondered on it and I was like, I think she's right. I think this is how God created me. And so I used to stress about it. And now I'm just at the place like, okay, God, what's next?
But this is to your point, Tess. Think about it, and this is something that I know. Even with 222 being just yesterday, this is the portal is calling us to balance.
Yes.
We learned a lot in 2020, and then 2021 was even more so practice. And this year, being a 22, if you're into numbers and numerology, we know that that's a master builder number, meaning if you don't build on balance and you don't build on a really firm structure, it's going to collapse.
Right.
And that's what we're being called to do, because you're right. It's go, but intentionally and in balance is, I think, really what the creator is asking us to do, because if we can't do it, Tess and I were just joking. We don't have a clone to say, yo, hey, come over here and come get this done.
I mean, we wish we did. We wish we did. And I was also going to add, like the fact that you said build. So I know one of the things that we're hopefully going to touch on is the vision board and what we have envisioned for ourselves. And for me and for others, like what that calls for you as far as what your divine asks from you and what your purpose truly is. But my word for this year is reconstruct. And so the fact that you're pointing on the word of building those tools or resources such as balance is key. And I know for me this year, it's going to be learning all of that. But I feel like right now, ladies, I'm in a breaking down stage, because in order to be reconstructed, you have to be broken down first.
I agree.
That's where I'm at. And I've accepted it. It's hard emotionally, but knowing who's in control and that this is going to be the better for me, I'm okay with it. I've accepted it.
Yeah. I love that. I really do. When you first told me what the word was, I was like, I really do love that, because it resonates for so many reasons. You do have to, it's scripture, right? You can't put new wine in old wineskin, right?
Exactly.
You got to start fresh. You got to start new. So in order to do that, you have to excavate. You have to get rid of some of the guck and the muck and build that foundation again.
Absolutely.
Then you build a structure, and it is, a process. I've always said a process to progress. So I'm excited about this conversation. So before we dig in, I want to just reiterate, Mrs. Positivity is the proud owner of Words Unite Bookstore. And this month, as with any month, it's featuring, the messages by Black books. By Black books. It's Black History Month. Yes, it's, Valentine's Day is coming up, and we're talking about how to be love and all things love, but it's Black History Month. The 28 days Black folk get, to talk about not even the history anymore. Kanye West just coined this Black futures, and we've been talking about that in the Afrofuturistic space for a while. Can we talk about the future?
Right.
Can we talk about the future? We weren't just slaves. Can we talk about the future? So I love that Mrs. Positivity is really featuring books in her bookstore. Check the bookstore out, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't already, please support Black books, and please support Black bookstore owners this month. Please. I mean, every month, every day. But please, please, please check out the store. All kinds of jewels there. Definitely. And let's get into this interview with Mrs. Tessy. So normally Mrs. Positivity asks the questions. I'm going to ask her, like, you want to ask the questions? What you want to do?
I mean, we can go back and forth. I have a few.
Okay.
You know I'm ready. I definitely want to hear. I definitely want to hear a little bit about who she is and why she has evolved into the space that she's in right now.
Okay, say it again, because she was moving the computer. And honestly, I think it's fair because I already know Tess. I already know her. I already know what she does, and I'm extremely biased when it comes to her. Like, oh my gosh, she is Wonder Woman, and she is. So it's good that Mrs. Positivity. So I'm gonna let her, and I'm gonna mute myself and tend to the chat. How about that?
Okay, and I think I'm ready. I'm trying to get like centered. I feel like I'm off, but I don't. Okay, here we go. I'm ready.
It is weird.
Okay. So yeah, I was asking, you know, how did you get into the space that you are in, and how did you just evolve into what you're doing now, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so that would have been a difficult question for me to answer a couple of years ago, but I feel I am in a much better place. And so where I am today is because of a really hard journey. And I say that being totally okay with talking about it because
can y'all shut the door, please?
I think in order that's the mommy life. That too has brought me to where I am today. You said it before you hit mute, sister, but that's okay. That's part of our lives, right? Being mommy. So that's where it started for me. Actually, 5 years ago, I had a surprise baby after 10 years, and I started having major health issues. And after that, it just took a toll on me as a total being. It took a toll on my emotions. My physical state was definitely where I was struggling. I started having major problems with my feet. And so I couldn't walk. And having a newborn baby, it just took a toll on me all around. And then my mental state as well. And where I thought I stood, which was my spirituality, it was wavering all over the place. And I think deep down in my heart, I knew that God had me, but I couldn't get past why I was struggling so much. And so, I mean, you know, short version, I had to be drugged through the dirt a little bit in order to come through shining. But while I was going through the dirt, and I had a lot of friends to help me get there, a lot of friends and family, not even knowing what I was truly going through. I was lifted. I was lifted through it. And it was through that dirt that I realized my true purpose. And like I said, a lot of it is to serve, but I was doing a lot of service, but I wasn't doing joyfully, ladies. And I think that's where God was like, okay, you've been doing a lot, but you're not really doing a lot, because you can't serve without doing it joyfully.
Right.
And so once I came out of that really hard part of my dirt, and I started to see how doing what God had asked me to do could be a real blessing in my own life, I realized that God had me in the palm of his hands. And so I accepted. And that's when my life changed. And literally, once I surrendered to the will of God for my life,
Amen.
Within a week, God opened doors for me to purchase one of my largest subcontractors. So before, I was doing event management on the side. And within 1 week, God opened the doors for me. And that was in the middle of March. And by April 15th, we closed. And that's where I'm sitting at right now. So we just did this big setup for Valentine's. And I'm sitting in the throne chairs, but we're in our office right now. But yeah, I have my own storefront, office, and a warehouse of over 3,000 square feet of design, decor, and materials.
That is amazing. Like God is so good. And that's a testimony in itself, and that's the core of it. You know, really we can list a lot of different things, and I love my pastors and the way that they teach us as far as having a degree of a thing. You know, we always talk about the degrees that we have or the education that we have, but that is a degree of what God actually designed and created us for.
Absolutely.
And sometimes we have to go through some things. And once we get over that that journey, then you really, really see the beautiful love that God has, in store for you. And that is just so wonderful to hear that, because I hope everyone who's listening just heard that was a journey and not just all of a sudden, ta-da, we arrive. We don't just arrive. And people idolize different people's journey, but they don't know what it took for that person to get there.
Ooh, yes. I love how you stated that. And I also feel that who I am today was part of that journey. We transform, we evolve in that transformation process, but that takes the journey to get there. It's someone told me this one time, right? Like you're baking a cake. Yeah. You can't just get the ingredients and throw it into the oven, right? You've got to crack the egg, pour in the milk, you've got to whip it and mix it and crunch it and crush it and do whatever you have to, and you've got to add in whatever you want to add flavor, and then you bake. And even then it's not ready. It's got to be heated. It's got to be tested. So that for us, on my spiritual level, that's that refining fire, and that is making us who we are. So again, I've done vision board parties for how long, Tiff? Maybe 4 years, and have been a mentor for teen women for over 6 years. And I believe that in order for us to become better, in order to walk someone else through something, we have to go through it. And I can't help anybody else get through something if I have not been through it myself. And so that's part of the journey. That's where we're at. And then along the way, just like you, I was a former educator. And God also saw it fit for me to homeschool. And I was wanting to do it for so long until the surprise baby came in, and I was like, how am I going to do this? But that was added to my plate as well. But
did I lose you?
I think so.
Oh
no.
Because you knew it was getting deep. That's why we cut off that deep conversation. But we're going to pull her back. We're going to get her back, okay?
Oh, it says device is not connected. They will need to connect their mic and cam. I think maybe the computer must have died.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But that was so good. Just talking about the journey of a thing. And even today, like we're getting cut off right now, but once she gets back on, then we'll continue and we'll progress and we'll get to talk about that. Every time you can plan, we're here in the room, we're in the same house and we're here, we're present, we have the stream live, and we plan the whole event, and then things happen. But
they do.
When things happen, we really have to have that mindset, like you were talking when we first started. If you're not at peace and you're not coming here ready and ready to just accept anything that happens, then you'll be overwhelmed.
You will.
So we're not overwhelmed, because look, she's back.
That's okay. We improvise. We fix it. It's plan B, plan C. We make it work, right?
See, it's a testament. It really is, and how metaphoric that is. It's like, okay, so you get cut off, you get right back on, or you fall down, you get right back up. It's the faith for sure. I love that. I love that.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. And so I love how you were talking about the vision boards, and I think having a vision, having a make it plain type of mindset towards your journey or your purpose or your future or your career or just a task, that's very, very important. So why did you feel it to be important to continue it as long as 4 years?
Well, because I saw the power in doing what I did on the vision board. So actually, I posted about it just last week. And I'm not on Facebook as much, but on my personal page, I did post that somebody said something to me, a little off the wall, kind of put me in a bad place. And I sat down at my table to work, and there was my vision board. And as I looked at my vision board, I realized there is power in putting it down on paper, because I was instantly reminded that I needed to stay focused, that I didn't need to let any of those distractions keep me from what I needed to do, what was at hand that needed to be taken care of, what my priorities were. Secondly, I didn't need to get distracted from what God truly had for me as my blessings. And three, my purpose. My purpose was not to focus on the negativity. And Miss Positivity, you know this. We have to shake it off and we have to keep moving forward. And my vision boards, we do them every quarter, because you can do it at the beginning of the year and then you come to it at the end of the year and you realize I didn't get this done, this done, and this done. And then you're disappointed in yourself. So I try to do mine every quarter or just revisit what I have put on to make sure I'm either on task, that I've met goals, that I've, reached milestones. And if I haven't, I address what are the challenges that are keeping me from getting there. I actually created an entire booklet for people to use so that they too can, walk themselves through it. So it's a guide, and it literally guides you on how to address your vision board and then how to create the vision board. So it's an entire guide that I put together.
Well, that's awesome. So you're solving the problem, and that's key. Our journeys, our problems, our struggles, we learn from them, and we create a fix for it. Girl, you changing too many things. You got me over here looking like, what happened?
And that was just the corner of my vision board that I had to focus on for that day. It's a big one, but that's the corner. And I divide mine so I have the entire word at the top. And I think I posted about it some time ago. When I had this year, I did it with my kids. I didn't do it with the big group of women, or usually do it with business women. I did it with my kids. And so this is the corner that I had to be focused on, was plan big. And that, I think faith of any kind really does move mountains, no matter what you call it. So that was what I really needed to be focused on right there that day.
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, just the fact that, she, think about it, Mrs. Positivity, when she said that quarterly, I love that. And two, World Vision Board Day just passed in January. So that was cool. But I love the fact that when she posted this, I was like, wow, you know what? It is really, really good to be reminded, you don't want to pop off on people, because here's the other thing that, and Tess knows this, like, it takes a lot for me to get there, because I too, it's about service. It's about, helping others. But once you get there, sometimes you can stay in that very disgruntled and bitter place and just lash out. Like, you don't know me. Like, don't roll up on me, man. Don't roll up on me.
Don't let Tiffany show up. Tiffany got to show up.
And it's so funny, because all the comments on this particular post that I did was all about, okay, keep it positive, Tess, keep moving forward. And of course, my cousin was like, wait, hold up. Who do I need to go beat up? And Tiffany responds to my cousin, because they know each other. And I ended up I was like, this is my ride or die group right here. And another one of my guy friends, Stanley, we grew up together. And we've been like close friends. Like, we don't have to talk every day, but it was my ride or die group. So I put that on there. Here's my ride or die group, because I knew if it had to go down, that would be the group that I could. I'm like, that we got to roll up on. No business.
Right. Who we got to roll up on? They won't even know what hit them. Because here's the thing, when Tess, and same thing with Ash, same thing with Miss Positivity. When you know that people have really, really good hearts, there are a lot of people that say one thing again, and it's not integrity. And, again, you don't know the journey. I'm not judging, but when someone has a heart of gold, and they do all that they possibly can to make people feel loved and included, to see them struggling with anything is it's disheartening. So it's like, who we got to roll up on? Like, I'm from Detroit. Don't play.
That's why I think it's important that we stay focused, because there are easily a lot of distractions around us. And I love the name Miss Positivity, because especially when we try really hard to stay positive and to do the right thing, that's when the enemy, or the people that are negative around us, they try to make it hard for us or try to make it worse for us. And that's part of our purpose, is to get past that and to show people that we're going to be okay.
Exactly. Yeah. And persistence in it. It's not easy to go beyond the negativity, but when you get on solid ground, when you get on unmovable ground, you realize there's a fine line between, is it worth it or is it not? Is it
That's
profit?
right.
Is it profitable or is it not? But at the same time, there's a whole stand up and be stern for yourself position in that as well. So you're not in that settling point either. And so that would be my next question to you: is how do you go beyond the let go and let God, and also, that whole standing firm in it, so that that person also learns a lesson, or that situation, there's a learning process where it doesn't happen again, and you can change and reroute, the environment.
So what I do is, one, I take some time for myself first thing in the morning to just before anything happens. And I think people always want to wait till something does happen and then figure out how to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
I try to get focused in the morning. So I take some time to just meditate. I do have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever choice I try, even if it's early morning and I'm going to have an early start. I just wake up a few minutes early to just take a breather. And then in the situations that I'm faced with, I have learned that asking questions is better than commenting, because commenting can come out negatively, negatively.
Right.
So when someone does say something, my first thing is, could you explain why you feel that way? Or what is it that made you feel that way? And it also clarifies and brings understanding, right? Because there's easily misunderstandings, and it's sometimes people just getting defensive because of their own personal issues. Yeah. But we tend to take it like, oh, okay, wait, hold up. You mad at me? And then we get defensive ourselves, and then we're ready to fight when it really was just a simple misunderstanding of. And for me, I'm a very emotional person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I have learned in the last 2 years how to really step back and not take everything so personal. And it's a journey for me every day to remind myself that, one, everyone's not like me, and two, that I need to understand that it could be someone else's issue be coming out in their anger or in their frustration. So it's best to clarify. And then 3 is to just have chips and salsa and queso. That is my absolute go-to. Everybody that knows me knows. Tessy just needs to calm down. Okay, girl, let's go. Chips and queso. And now I do chips and salsa because it's a little bit healthier. Oh, and I found a place that makes homemade chips, or I try to have like Quest chips. They're not fun, but if it's a really hard day, chips and queso.
Okay, you sound like my sister. That's what we were talking in our family chat yesterday, and my sister was like, "Oh, wait, I'm gonna be locked into the house. Like I didn't get no chips and dip."
There you go. That's it. It solves everything. It's nourishment to the body, to the heart, to the soul, to my brain. I function. Tiffany knows this. Every time we've worked, I have to snack. Like I work so much better mentally when I'm snacking too.
When you're snacking. Okay, well we're gonna bring the snacks every time we're with you.
Yes. I mean, and I bring it all the time. Every time we have something, I just roll up with the snacks in my bag.
Really, she does. She has a huge emergency bag that's like every emergency you could ever want to think of. And I want to talk about a little bit about that too, because see, this is the future of education and the future of work. I know back in the day, some of the careers and some of the opportunities, especially with an entrepreneur, we used to think that was so far-fetched, right? And so we all did traditional jobs, but who knew that you could start off just loving arts and crafts and taking that to the next level. Same thing with Ash. Who knew that you could, and myself, love books and turn that into a job, turn that into, a money-making opportunity. And with Tess, the thing that I've always been like, just blown away by, there are very few, and I say this all the time, and then I'm like, oh, that's not true. Because I would say, it's very few people that I'm really, really impressed by, but I do have a sizable amount of people that I'm like, wow, you did that. This is about design. It's about, just letting ourselves be creative. And I do want to talk about how, the journey from event artist, right, to executive event artist, to owner of, a rental space, vision boards. Like there really isn't, at one time Tess and I was doing Activicare together, where, you know, we would come in and actually outsource. We would take care of the children's programming for adult parties or what have you. That was so fun, you know. But I really want to talk about this in the future of work and the future of educational space, because in addition to the parents and the educators that may be watching, Tess is also a former educator. I want to talk about it from the that you really can't do anything you set your mind to, right? And that asking questions helps. It helps, because the thing we've seen a lot is you need to be better with soft skills, emotional intelligence, and social emotional learning. And these things are basic. I think at a point we started getting away from how to be human with each other, because, you know, the robots, we have them in our pockets now.
Yes.
But this is really human behavior that sets us apart from, in terms of the goals, when we're thinking about others and serving others and creating for others. That differentiates us from other kinds of businesses, if you will. Businesses that may exploit or may not really care about, you know, the individual. So I want to talk about the creative part, like, because it's really creativity on steroids. Like, she talks about the snacks, but she snacks because she goes and goes and goes, you know. So I want to talk about the creativity and what that's been able to do, not just from a business perspective, but for you personally.
Yes.
Like, yeah, let's talk about that.
So being creative honestly started as therapy for me. Just as a kid, it was just something that I did for fun when I didn't get to go out I didn't get to go out a lot with my friends growing up. But I was so creative that my mom nurtured my creativity. So she would say, okay, let's buy a few things. She would give me some stuff. I would create it. And then she helped me by saying, you know what, I'm going to take it to work and see if my friends want to buy it. Oh, and wow. So she did. And so I started making door wreaths, I think in 6th or 7th grade. And then friends would see it. And then one of her friends got married and asked if I could make her bridesmaids baskets. And so then I started a basket company. And all this time, like all the way through when I was teaching, when I first started teaching, I did baskets. In college, I got super creative. I just did a lot of fun things in college, even made candles just to make money, you know, just found a wholesale wax place and learned how to bring scents in and got colors. And my dad had some friends who made molds for me, like heart-shaped molds, cylinder molds. And so I just started making candles to make money. It was really creativity, but, you know, a little side hustle too. Wow. So then after, I graduated, like I said, I was a teacher and I would do the baskets every Easter. So it was kind of fun during Easter. And then during Valentine's, I would do a few baskets. I was always the educator, right? So I was like, I'm not doing baskets with candy. So I always did a whole bunch of extra stuff in the baskets, right? Stuff that was activity related, or, you know, like I always did themes. So I would do like a Hello Kitty basket. So it just became to the point where I was doing almost like 30 to 50 baskets a year.
Wow.
And then one year, after I got married, I started doing a lot of creating centerpieces for people at my church for their weddings and anniversary parties and stuff like that. And then by that time I got married and my husband was like, you know, you need to start getting paid for this. And then it turned into I started doing children's parties only. So I bought moonwalks. I have the popcorn machine, snow cone machine. We started doing all of that, clown suits, did everything on that end. And then it just literally grew from there to the point where I started doing municipal events and learned more on the logistics side and managing. And then, like I said, had a subcontractor that did all the design aspects. And now we are both event artists and design artists.
Yes.
So basically creativity this entire time has been therapy. So this setup right here, I came in last weekend. My mom was very, very sick last week, and the previous week. So last Saturday, I had not been to the office all week, and I told my team, I said, hey, we're going to go in and we're just going to get creative. We just took everything down that was in the office that was here for Christmas. We had like a winter wonderland going on in here. And I just told them, I said, let's just get real creative. And so here we are. We started. Yep. There's some of our work, but we got really creative here. I don't know if y'all can see. but we did a whole design table for Valentine's.
Nice.
And yeah, we just, and there's we were getting creative with the crystals over there. We actually added all of the crystal pieces to that candelabra. And then even down here on the ground, we have all of the floating candles, like kind of set up there with silver votives and stuff. We just got creative. And so this literally was my therapy, to just come here and be super creative. I don't know if on here, can I turn my camera around or no?
I don't think so. I think that's like the one thing.
When you can see over there, see
the
the other
nice.
table?
Yeah.
We just got creative. It's just what I like to do. So yeah, it basically being creative for me is therapy. And then as far as the snacks and stuff like that, because I'm a homeschool mom as well, on top of everything, we use a lot of food and snacks in our interactive learning. So when we did the human cells, we did, we used all candy. And last week I was doing molds with Vicky, and I just took old popcorn and we colored it, and then we just stuck it all together to make shapes. And so, I mean, I don't like wasting food either. So if I could use it for a craft, we'll just take some old stuff and make something happen out of it.
There you go.
Get really creative with everything, especially food.
Definitely. I mean, you gotta have everything has a purpose, and not everybody can put all that stuff together and really create something beautiful. But I mean, it's great that you can do that therapy type of learning and make it something that can be a product for revenue. And so that's how for me, I feel like that's how you're operating in your purpose, because that gift turns into some kind of returnable, not even if it's not income, it's a return. It's something that's going to fill you up in some capacity. And so that is awesome. And you got to reuse. I think that's the part that we're missing in the century right now. It is Black History Month. We are recapturing our history, but we got to reuse those lessons learned to think about our future, like we were talking about earlier. In order to go further, we have to reuse and recreate. And in that creativity space, whether you're able to make a beautiful table design or creations for your school age children, for homeschooling, or just ideas in general, you really, really got to use the things that are around you. And I think we try to overcompensate in 2022 and in the 20th century, where we aren't able to maintain that. And so I hope that's what people capture as well. We got to maintain the things that we are operating in. And if you're not able to maintain it, you might be in the wrong space.
Yes. And I do want to say this one very, very important thing is, through all of the stuff that I have learned, whether it was my painful journey, physical health journey that was so painful for me, or the, adding homeschool to my plate, my mom's health situation, which I happen to be one of her main caregivers. And I heard this again last week. Hoda said it on Good Morning America. Yeah. And she said, we have forgotten to have fun. Yeah. And so I do events, and I mean, if anyone has seen me at my events, I love what I do. My feet will be killing me and literally falling off. I have been in a boot for 18 hours standing on my feet, and I had a smile on my face the whole time. Now I'll cry all the way home, but nobody sees me crying in the car. Yeah. The entire event day, I have fun. Whether I'm picking up someone's plates, throwing away their trash, emptying trash cans, I have fun doing what I do. So I know that I'm in my purpose. And with the homeschool thing, it was a bit of a challenge at the beginning, but we have learned to have fun with it. And I want to remind everybody that no matter what you're going through, even when you're struggling a little bit, find the joy in what you're going through. Like my mom was really sick a couple weeks ago. She did go unresponsive for just a little bit. And it's been a really big challenge for us the last year with mom's health. But here's what I will say. Our families have come over more often. We've had more family time. We've gone back to playing old school board games and stuff, because we don't want to go out. We just want to be close when we're all together. And every time we're together now, we have more fun than we've ever had before.
Wow.
So whatever you're doing, whether it's reading books or, you're at the hospital, find joy in what you're doing, because God has a plan for everybody. And you're going through it because it was written out for you in your will for something to happen. and you might not understand it now, and it might not make any sense at all.
Right.
But I do know that there's always a rainbow on the other side. I actually, on my screensaver, this is literally what it says. There it goes. It says, the way I see it, I'll just read it. The way that I see it is, if you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. That was by Dolly Parton. It's literally on my screensaver because it's a reminder every day that it's going to rain, but there's a rainbow coming after the rain. So.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so excited. I'm really excited.
We are like so grateful to have you, Tess. As usual, again, popped in a few minutes late because life is happening, and then she has to go. Like, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Tell Abby, Kadavi, I love them. I can't wait to see them. Like, oh my gosh.
It's crazy. Errol actually asked me about you today. He said he wanted to see TM. He's like, I want to see how big TM is now.
Oh,
I am actually going to see Tiffany tonight. He was like, really? Yeah. I said, yeah. It was a small world that he asked me about you today.
That is crazy. Tell him I said, hey.
I will. And I really, truly appreciate you, ladies. And if anyone wants the guide, I was actually putting it out a few months ago on Facebook. I asked if anybody wanted the guide, and I was private messaging everybody the link for the guide for the vision board. So if anyone's interested that's here on watching today, you can private message me on Tessy Windle, or there's Artistic Celebrations is my first planning company. There's Artistic Event Rentals. You can message me on any one of those, and I can send you the link, and that way you can look over it. And if you need help, I always am willing to do a live. I've done private sessions via Zoom. So
yeah. Yes,
awesome.
The book is phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Thank you, Tess, for being with us. We're going to talk a little bit more about you and all you do while you're off, saving the world.
Sorry, guys.
Being Wonder Woman. Go be Wonder Woman.
No problem.
Thank you again for the opportunity, ladies.
You're welcome.
Be sure to send me the link, Miss Positivity, Miss Ash. Send me the link so that I can send it out as well for the book. So, and my kids can take a look at it as well, because all they want to do is go to Barnes and Noble. So. I'm going to send them the link.
Yes. Come my way. Come my way.
Yes. All right, ladies. Y'all stay warm.
See you later.
Safe, and I'll talk to y'all soon.
Thank you, hon.
Bye.
So that was phenomenal. I mean, it's again proving the point that when we talk about something we want, we have to be willing to go the long mile. And I love when you brought that up. I love that when you brought that up, Ash, about how, she pointed out you can serve, but same thing when you're not doing it joyfully. I've noticed that the creator will tap you on your shoulder, and if you're not paying attention, will drag you through the dirt. Like, wait a minute, this isn't sincere,
Definitely, and to see vibrant people like Tess actually acting and operating in their vein, that's the highest potential that I want for me, for my children. That's the legacy that we should be striving for, not this scratch, that crab in the barrel type of
absolutely
action. It should be that get towards your actual full fulfillment position. And so that's why we're doing what we're doing. We're meeting these amazing people that bring light to adversity and to struggles and to journeys, but also highlighting the creative space that helps us learn and that keeps the culture in our community.
Yep. Indeed. Speaking of culture, yes, yet again, it's a brand drop. Definitely support Words Unite Bookstore, Black woman owned, veteran owned. I didn't misspell it, did I? You know how I always.
No, you got it. You got everything right today.
Look, this is why I love Mrs. Positivity. She even had to remind me last week. Now I caught myself doing it for our next guest. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because that's my name, right? It's with a Y, and I'm like, oh my God, did I put an I on her name again? Oh my God. So, I appreciate you. I do. I really, really do.
No problem. And it's funny because on the backdrop, you don't know, but I always, in all of my sessions, and I'm a power of positive words, my weakness, I always tell people, I can't spell. I cannot spell. And so somebody has always corrected me, and so now I gracefully help other
You
people.
get to correct me.
It helped me. It helped me so much. So listen, we got each other's back.
We do, and I've always appreciated that about you. Honestly, from the moment, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching, I know my people. I typically know my people, and I was just telling my son this. I said, it's new math. A lot of people. Because my album, let me go back. My album dropped this week. I'm going to send it to you. Yes, my album dropped this week. I'm super, super excited about it. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback. Like, just saw some messages for some people. And everybody's listening. And I said to him, there's a song on there in particular that talks about friendship. And I said to him, I said, well, a lot of people consider me a friend because I'm there. I'm always helpful. But in terms of who I consider a friend, that list is a little different. So I can say, matter of factly, Tess has been one of those people, and Ashley, Mrs. Positivity, has been one of those people. You know right away who your people are.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful. I really, really am. I'm super grateful. Even when, like we talk about all the time, things get tough and it's, how am I going to do this? Why am I going to do this? To be able to be in space with beautiful women, women who really do love and care about each other. That is what keeps me going, so
definitely. Me too. Thank you. I appreciate you. There's many weeks that I'm like, man, I don't even know if I connected or if we're in the right space, but having, genuine people around you, you feel like you're not really getting where you're supposed to be, but they confirm that in you. And then we just have each other's back. And that's what I've learned over the years too. It's not like nobody's like hounding you over the head for dropping it or for thinking you're dropping it. It's just, okay, what do you need? And let's get it done type of mentality. We agree. And we're trying to reach a purpose. We're trying to reach a goal. And then that's the only thing we're talking about. We're going to reach the goal no matter what hiccups came along the way.
Totally. Like, we got to do it. We got to do it. And to do it together and to do it gracefully, I've always said this, virtue is the goal for me. So to do it gracefully, grace and ease is definitely the goal. So,
because like I can see us like 10 years from now with this whole platform in a room like we're in right now, and really, 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 really sitting back and having real genuine conversations like we're continuing to have with these amazing creatives. And so I'm in it for the long haul, and I hope other people realize consistency is key. Consistency doesn't mean that it's consistent on the back end. We're trying to make it work, and things do go up and down throughout the process, but you got to see like a longevity future to it. And that's what I see to you. So you think you want to be, because if you think you want to be, you really got to do the work to be.
You got to do the work. You got to do the work. There are I know we think that there are, but we've been saying this as you have been, as some of my other dear friends, some of our watchers. This isn't new. I know, the internets have presented it like, oh, in the last couple of years, it's so much entrepreneurship and it's so much. No, we didn't just start this. We've been at this for a long time.
Right.
And in order to be that, you have to constantly course correct, and you have to constantly ask yourself, wait, what am I doing here? Like, is this in line? So I love that you just said that, because it takes that reminder. No, you can't just say you want to be that without the struggle, without the strain, without the lessons, without the wisdom.
Right.
It's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. So I'm excited. I'm excited about this year. What about you?
Yes, I am super excited. I'm super excited to be doing this with you. And I'm looking forward to next month and continuing having this conversation, because if you are listening, it's important for you to have that genuine conversation of your journey and to really reflect and to really learn. Like Tess said, she wakes up in the morning and she meditates. Like, what are you doing to start your process? And not everybody's a morning person. So maybe it's in your ending. I know people who write a whole list for tomorrow at night, and that gets them prepared for tomorrow. Yeah. So whatever your process is, make that your process and really take that in and go with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that because honestly, I'm not a morning person. Everybody that knows me, it's like, no, leave me alone. Stop. But evening into, night, I'm like, okay, I got it. There are, I get to bed, but lately I have found that list is very important. And even as a project manager, it's like, okay, so I'll just add it to the board, right? Okay, I need to get that done. I need to do that. And it's been much better this year, the last couple of years, just because of work and, just juggling like we talked about. But yeah, the little things, and don't think that the little progress is not, those little things are monumental,
yes.
They really are, because it's just one step at a time. And again, grace and ease.
Grace and ease.
So we were talking about next month and the month after that. I am so excited to say that we have our next two guests lined up. Thanks to Mrs. Positivity, because she is all that.
Come on, connections. Come on, connections.
You be having them connections. I'd be like, girl. So we have our next two guests booked. And I'm super excited to talk to our guest next month, Tiffany Teachy. Oh my gosh.
Definitely. And Ebony Magazine just did the whole HBCU STEM program, and Tiffany is all in the STEM world. So I'm excited about that conversation.
I am too. I mean, when I read her bio, I was like, what?
Yes.
Wait a minute. Even the Royalston Publishing Group. What is her name? Is it Julia?
Yeah.
Julia. I'm so excited to talk to her. Here I am again. I'm like, okay, I've written some books and I've done it. And I looked at her bio like, what am I doing with my life? She's written 1 billion books.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk to both of them. All thanks to you. I really appreciate you, dear. Thank you so much.
Pleasure to serve. Pleasure to serve.
Yeah. One more time before we go, please, 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 please. You're watching right now. Share this with somebody. I know there's a lot of noise on the internet, and it's a lot going on for sure. But if this could reach someone, maybe they're feeling great and this will inspire them to keep going, or they may not be feeling too hot, because we have to keep each other in mind, especially with all of the suicides that's been happening here lately.
Right.
People are in distress,
Right.
as best we can, because some of us are also under duress and stressed. As best we can, pay attention to each other, look out for each other. Maybe just to send this to someone to uplift their spirits and just to let them know that they are being thought of. There are going to be some really good conversations, because we're going to keep showing up on purpose, and we're going to keep being that. 2022 is our year. So
yeah,
do that. Follow Words Unite Bookstore and support the bookstore. In fact, here, let's see. I'm going to do this before we go. There we go. One word concept book resource.
Yes, I meant to talk about that earlier. So Tess was talking about her word. I think she said,
it's reconstruction.
Reconstruction. And I do with another group, a veteran group, we do one word concepts with our vision boards as well. And so this is a book. That's a great resource if you need to use a word to be the foundation to catapult your whole vision. It's pretty much how we do it. And so she's talking about reconstruction, and my word for this year is purify. And so I want all the contaminants, out of my boundaries in this year. And so this one word concept book really, really helps you to really hone in to that vision. And so I think that's a great addition to Tessa's vision board mindset and what she does.
I do too. I love it. So gotta check that out. I'm definitely going to check that out. I have so many books to buy from you. You have no idea. The list just keeps growing. Seriously.
They keep sending me more and more books. I'm like, yo, I'm going to be drowning.
But I mean, it's a good problem to have. But this is the thing. We have to have support. So not just this month, every single month, be sure to support the bookstore, mobile bookstore. Did we say it last time? The only veteran-owned, Black woman-owned, author-owned mobile bookstore.
Yes.
Yeah.
Black woman, veteran-owned, author-owned. And that's amazing. I've been talking about it all month. Talking about Black history and history in general, just to be able to be on a platform where I am a bookstore owner or owner of literacy, where in our culture, reading was what was tried to be taken, or the privilege of reading tried to be taken away from us.
Yeah.
And so just to be able to be in a bookseller's industry, like I'm just amazed. I'm just thankful. And so that's my goal this month. I want to sell out of 5 of my author's books. Now, every author in my bookstore is an independent author. These are your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, your nieces, your nephews. These are real people who have written these books, and I would like to see them get in a sellout position this month. And so that's why we're continuously pushing on every platform available. Like, this is the time, and I tell everybody too. I know you've bought a lot of books for me, because I know a lot of you are great supporters, and I'm thankful for that. But don't buy it for you this time. Buy it for a group. Buy it for a boys and girls club. Buy it for a church. Buy it for a program. Like, you there's so many different ways that we could just donate these books out. So I challenge you to buy 50 to 100 books this month.
Yeah, that's honestly, it's so doable. It really is. It really is. It's doable. It's doable. And it's going to happen. We're going to decree and declare. It's going to happen. Yes. Somebody is going to see the need and fulfill it, because we are in agreement. Well, my love, it's, it's such a wonderful way to spend my Friday evening with you. Stay warm, even though we're in this luxurious house. We don't have to worry about the heat bill.
Right? We're going to put that fireplace. We're going to get that fireplace burning in a little while.
No, seriously. We're going to stay warm and stay safe by all means. And we're going to do it again next month. Remember, this happens the first Friday of the month at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next month, we have the honor of speaking with Tiffany Teachy, and we're going to be talking about engineering and STEM and all that good stuff. Black women in engineering. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Yes.
I can't wait. Well, everyone, thanks so much for joining again. Share this with someone. Make sure you're following us for more, and take care. We'll see you soon.
See you later.